Hey, Josh Tigg, Running T Farms. Morning cattle move here over with our finishers and some of our yearling animals. I was going to talk just a little bit this morning about grass finishing cattle and how, as they kind of say, the devil's in the details. So I was going to take a shot here. This is some of our annual ground that we've drilled. So we drilled in a 7-way multi-species cover crop. You can see there's brassicas, sorghum Sudan, sunflowers, cowpeas in this mix. But of course we don't use any chemicals, didn't spray anything down. So everything that was here, we don't want to kill anything. We just want to add to the diversity. So on top of that, there's also a ton of white clover in here, red clover, just a very extremely diverse mix. There's some sunflower coming up, a lot of crabgrass in here in this annual pasture. So I don't know how many different species of stuff is in here, but it's a lot, and that's what we want. And why does that matter? So I'm going to post a link in the comments here to some research that they've just been concluded, checking all the phytochemicals and the nutrient density of grass-fed beef versus grain-finished CAFO beef, and the findings are quite astonishing. And it also goes to show that there's a big variation even amongst the grass finished beef. So the more diverse, I think he goes as far as saying in the video, cows are what they eat. And you've always heard that you are what you eat. So if you're eating animals that's healthy, that has to have a positive correlation to your health. So, but I will post a link to that. I encourage everybody to watch that. It's a little bit lengthy and it gets a little bit scientific, but it's got some great information in it. But it talks about grass-fed beef has 2 to 9 times more nutrient density than grain-finished beef, and that they can correlate it the longer that the animals are on in the feedlot eating feed, their nutrient density starts dropping, going down from day one. Most animals are there for 120 days, and by the end of 120 days, their just nutrient density is way down. And another reason I think that grass finished beef has so much better nutrient density is because they're a little bit older. So our animals are going to be somewhere around 24 months old when they're processed, and they're out here eating live growing forage, very diverse forage. And so they've got a little more time to gain the nutrient density of this forage. They also found that there's a huge difference between animals eating live green growing forage than animals that you've just got feeding grass, silage, or hay. They lose a lot, 50 to 60% of the phytochemicals are lost in the ensiling process or in the haymaking process. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And these are questions you need to, if you're looking to source really high quality, nutrient dense grass-fed beef, you need to be asking these questions to your farmers that's producing it. How are your animals finished? When are they harvested? There's a good chance if they're offering up, if you can go buy a whole beef from them and get it custom cut the way you want it, anytime you want it, there's going to be a good chance that they're feeding these animals silage or hay, because you can't grow finishing quality forage 365 days a year, but just in a very few select places in the world. New Zealand, some down in Argentina. But so it's a seasonal thing. That's why we finish most of our beef is finished and processed in the fall. Sometimes we'll have some in the early summer, but as a general rule, they're going to be ready in the fall. And that's also, coincidentally, in this study, they found out that the fall finished animals were the very highest for nutrient density of the beef. So, you know, it's the natural way. That's when an animal is going to be the fattest, you know, is when in nature would be going into winter. They're going to be the fattest that they can be going into winter so that they can get through the winter. So that's going to be the peak time to harvest these animals, and that's when we harvest our animals. So if you're looking for really good animals that's finished on grass during the growing season on live growing forage, not eating grass silage or grass hay out of a feed wagon or a feed yard, you need to be asking these questions to your farmers that you're sourcing this from. And of course, we would love for you to use us as your source. We only finish our animals on live growing forage during the growing season. So, you know, everybody knows omega-6 to 3 ratio average for grass-fed beef, somewhere in the 2 to 1 category, which is very close to where we need it. That's a very good ratio. Average feedlot beef is 12 to 1 to as high as 17, 18, 20 to 1. That's unhealthy. It just goes to show these animals in an unnatural environment have a poor, you know, it's just not good for their health, and it shows. So the animals are what they eat. Just walking through here, these guys, I just moved them. They're just having a ball here, eating this forage, and that's the way it is. I mean, we've just got all this forage here that we're going to finish these cattle on, and that translates to very nutrient dense beef, very diverse forage. The more diverse the forage that they're eating, the higher the nutrient density of the beef. And that's what we are about here at Running T Farms. Here's a shot of one of our finishing animals. It's just coming along real nicely. It's going to be some fantastic grass finished beef. This is a Mashona Angus cross, already got good fat deposition around his tail head. Very nice animal, but he's got a couple more months to go. He will get even fatter and more finished. The nutrient density is going to keep piling on. So turn my phone around here. Hope everybody has a fantastic day. It's Friday, a great weekend. As always, you can check us out online at runningtbeef.com. You can like us on Facebook at Running T Beef. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure and hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. And please share this video, share your questions. If you got any questions about how we finish our animals, please drop those in the comments and we will get them addressed. So everybody have a great weekend.